Hi, welcome to our class today. We are going to be focusing on a bone density class. So in terms of trying to improve your bone density or look after your bones, we do need to put a bit of pressure onto the bone plates. So even if you have arthritis, even if you have osteo, anything like that, you still need to be putting weight into wrists, knees, anything that is got bone, basically. The only thing you want to consider is if you have got arthritis or something like that, that you keep your sessions really short. So we're not after pain. We never want to work to pain unless you have fibromyalgia or something like that where you are constantly in pain. But in general, we don't want to work to pain, but you need to find a way to introduce a little bit of weight into your movements or anything like that. So even holding a weight, you're still adding some weight. So today we're just going to focus on something on all fours. You can also do lean against the wall and then push yourself away, like wall push-ups. That's a good way of introducing a little bit of weight into your wrists and your shoulders. If, like, let's say you have carpal tunnel or anything wrong with your wrist, that's another good way of doing that. But we're going to focus on all fours on Supermans today, just moving hands one at a time, then maybe both. We'll see how we get on. And then I've just got a little tip for you, should you have painful knees. So I have a little cushion. We give all our clients these cushions when they come to us. So often what people do when they have a painful knee is they'll put their knee on the cushion. So that can help quite a lot of people. But often if you take a pillow or a towel or something, don't put it under the knee, put it under the shin bone. So what actually happens then is your patella is off the floor, and then you can be in that position. So it really just depends on what's causing the knee pain, but that can be a way to come onto all fours if you want to. Right, so remember you work to your own discomfort here, and if you don't want to use the knees, you don't have to use the knees. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is come into all fours. So even for me, I've noticed just starting to go through menopause that some days my wrists are really sore, other days they're not. But I'm still going to practice putting weight into the wrists to help keep them strong. So all I'm going to do is actually come up onto my knuckles. So for some people, knuckles is going to help them as well. So just take a moment by focusing on where your hands are. So ideally we want the hands under the shoulders. Sometimes just having your hands a little wider can release any pain in the wrist and perhaps even the shoulders. So have a little experiment with where you have your hands. I'm certainly not one of these teachers that you must have it there and you must have it there. We've all got a different body, but find where you can stabilize yourself and you're in a little bit of discomfort, but you're not in any pain. And then just check your knees, make sure your knees are under your hips. And then if you look through your knees, you shouldn't be able to see your feet, otherwise your feet will be closer together. So this just helps your feet to stay in alignment with your knees. So the first thing we're going to do is focus on the spine. So does it feel like your bum's sticking out towards the ceiling? Does it feel like you're sagging in your shoulders? So I want you to imagine there's a candle beneath you in between your hands. So you don't want the candle to burn your nips. So I want you to push the floor away and you'll feel your shoulders wrap down the back under your arms, and then pull the belly button in towards your spine, and hopefully you can feel how that lower back comes into a straight line and the tummy lifts. So we also don't want to be the other way around in that position. So we are actually going to start with some cat-cows just to loosen off everything. So holding it here, take a deep breath in. On the exhale, you're going to pull the pubic bone towards your heart. So tucking the tailbone under. Push the spine up towards the ceiling as much as you can, and then just relax the head. So you don't need to force your head down, just let it hang. Keep pushing the floor away with your hands so your shoulder blades are moving away from your spine and hugging in that tummy. Relax the back of your legs and your bum cheeks. That's going to make sure the abdominals are really kicking in there. Now, take a nice deep breath in. And then send your tailbone to the ceiling this time. I like to have a little shoulder roll here. So bring your shoulders forward. Squeeze them together and then lift your heart in between the shoulder blades but gazing slightly up and forward. So yes, my lower back is dipping here, but I haven't just let my tummy hang out. We're still keeping that tummy in to protect the spine. And we're just going to have a few flowy breaths here. So breathe in and then exhale. And don't get fixated on the breath, just breathe. So you can either uncurl on another exhale or you can uncurl and inhale. All I want you to do is just move your spine, just get it a little loose. Perhaps you've been sitting all day. Good, we'll just do one more. Cut. Coming into your cow, so having the heart lifted, gaze slightly forward, make sure that tummy's pulled in. And then bring yourself back to the neutral position. Bring your feet towards your bum. Come onto your elbows and just give your wrists a little wiggle. So sometimes I like to hold the wrists and then give them a shake, as though you're shaking somebody else's hand. Good. And then I'm going to come back to all fours again. So now we're going to focus on weight shifting. So with weight shifting, I want you to imagine that I don't want to see where you are moving your body. So this has to happen inside of your body. So from here, I want you to put all the weight into your left knee and your right hand. So left knee and right hand. So what you might start to feel is this lightness in the opposite sides, your left hand and your right knee. And then from here, bring all the weight back to the center again. And then go to the other side. So we're going to put the weight into the left hand and the right knee. So notice, I can feel how the abdominals are starting to kick in a little bit more as well. So I'm going to face you just so you can see what we're trying to avoid. So when we come into this position, we're trying not to just like sink from side to side. We want to keep it nice and stable as you weight shift, because we're going to move the levers in a minute. So we don't want our whole body rocking around. We really want to stabilize. Okay. So from here, so just carry on from one side to the other. And like I said, you want to imagine that you don't want anybody to see that you're doing this. So it's all happening inside. Think of the space between your rib cage and your hips. So even when you weight shift, that space wants to stay the same. So there doesn't want to be a hitch on the hip or anything like that. Good. Bring your weight back to both knees, both hands. Take a seat back. And then again, just give your wrists. So I know maybe right now you might be going, my wrists are really sore, I don't want to do anymore. Which is what my clients always tell me. But if you don't put weight into your wrists ever, they're not going to get stronger. So again, I know you might have arthritis and carpal tunnel and all these things, but it doesn't mean you should just stop moving completely. Just take your time with it. If what you've done there is enough for today, then that's it. Then you can just finish the video there. But if you never ever put weight into your bones, the bones are not going to get stronger. You're only going to get weaker and weaker and weaker. And I hate it just as much as you, to be honest. So now we're going to start introducing a little bit of movement. Like I said, some days my wrists are so sore and then other days they're not. So come back to evenly weighted hands and feet. Draw that tummy in towards the spine. Remember to push your heart away from the floor. And your gaze is slightly forward to the front of the mat. So from here, we're going to put the weight into the right knee and the left hand. And then all I want you to try and do is just move that right hand But notice, have you rocked over to one side or the other? So remember, we want to try and stay completely still, hugging in the tummy. And now what I find with clients is a bit of a tendency when we reach away with the right hand to bring the right rib to the hip. So we still want to keep the length and then bring that right hand back, bring the weight into the center again, hold it there, breath in, put the weight down into the right hand, left knee. Once you feel as though you've stabilized, slide that left hand away. So again, be mindful that you don't overreach and then tuck that tail around. We want to keep this space long. So remember, you want to pretend that nobody else should see that you're moving, and then bring the hand back in, distribute the weight evenly again. Let's just do a couple more each side, then we'll have a little rest again. So putting the weight into left hand, right knee. Slide it away, keeping that tummy pulled in. Think of the space between both sides of the rib cage and the hip. Pulling it back in again, hold. Send the weight into the other side. So you really want to wait until you're nice and light in those opposite levers before you move. Otherwise, you're going to lose the stability. So what I mean by that is you don't want to move straight away, otherwise you'll lose like trying to control those hips. So we're just going to do one more each side. So weight into the, before I forget, left hand, right knee. When I'm teaching a class, if I forget, I'll always say the other side. And then come back again, last one. So weight shift, stabilize before you mobilize. So there I could just feel a little tilt into my right hand, which tells me I wasn't heavy enough in that left knee. So I'm finding this one quite hard now. Oh, that's very hard. And then bring it back, relax down. So we're actually going to move to the lower part of the body. So if your wrists have had enough, you can actually stay on your elbows. And then we're going to be working through the legs. So if you find that's what you want to do, you can do that by all means. So just give it a little shake. There's always something we can do to make this more accessible. This is why I love Pilates so much. So, on all fours again. You can be on your elbows if your wrists have had enough, or if they need a little break. And then, so knees under hips, wrists and elbows under shoulders. Tummy is pulled in. We're going to weight shift again. So put the weight into your left hand and right knee. Once you feel stabilized and your other levers feel light, you are just going to slide the leg out. So we're not going to lift it, I just want you to slide it out. When you slide it out, was there a drop or did you rock right into your right knee? So the left hand is taking a lot of the weight of that left leg. Slide the leg back in, cramp in my toe. And then stabilize. You can feel my hips moving a little. And then, now we're going to do the other side. So now put the weight into your right knee, left hand. Remember that right hand, left knee, right hand, right hand is going to take a lot of the weight of the body. So push away, engage these abdominals. Let that left knee get really heavy and then slide the leg out. So I don't even want you to lift the leg. You should be able to just slide it out. Oh, cramp again. Keep those tummy buttons pulled in. If I curl my toes over, it's because I'm cramping. And then push away, keep the tummy pulled in. And then now we're going to slide the knee back in. You'll notice that as the knee comes in, I'm not lifting the hip. It should just slide back. And then relax. Good. Come back. Give everything a little shake. So if you have enough in you just to do one more little set, we're now going to do arms and legs. Okay? So of course, there's lots of exercises you can do for bone density. Quite like this because you need shoulder stability as well. And I do find that when I'm doing these kinds of things, clients are always cautious of the shoulders. So I like this because it builds shoulder strength. Right, so last little set, and I promise you we'll be finished then. So coming onto your hands and your knees. So I'm actually going to try and put my hands that way now. So tummy's pulled in. Gaze is slightly forward. And then, so take a breath in. From here, putting the weight into your left hand, right knee. And now we're going to try and slide both levers out. So the right hand's going to slide out as the left leg slides out. Keep the levers on the floor for today. As you do that, check to make sure that your left hand is heavy, so you haven't rocked into that right side. Now keep pushing the floor away. Even with your right leg, you're pushing away. So as you bring your hand and your knee back in, there should be no need to like lift to pull it in. You should be able to just slide it in and out. So breath in, tummy pulls in, push away. Now we're going to send the weight into the right hand and left knee. I've got a little visitor that's about to come and say hello. And then slide it out. She's been so good today. Now make sure that your right hand is heavy, the left knee is heavy, there's no rocking. And then slide it back in again. We are going to attempt one more each side. Please don't scratch me, that's really sore. So tummy pulls. Put the weight into your left hand, right knee. Once you feel nice and stable, remember we don't want to rock. Now you're going to slide your right hand away and the left leg away. Keep the tummy pulled in. Keep pushing away with the left hand. Keep pushing away with your right knee. Breath in. Ow! And then slide it back in. Good. And we're going to do one more. So exhale. So you might have seen videos and people are just flying through the movements, and then you think there's no way you could have stabilized properly. But again, I want you to focus on the strength in your elbow, your wrist, your shoulder. The tummy is pulled in. That weight is down through your left knee. Slide your hand back in, slide the leg in. You'll be glad to know. She'll be glad to know this is the last one. Good. So give your wrists. I have 5 dogs. She's been the biggest challenge of them all. Right, so we're just going to come in. We're going to do a little stretch just in the neck, because I appreciate, especially when you're weight bearing, it gets quite a lot here. So nice comfortable position. If you want to sit on a chair, you can sit on a chair as well. If you want to have your legs straight, anything that's going to help you to sit up nice and tall. So just to start with, just take a deep breath in. Open your mouth and just let it go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the left ear to the left shoulder. So all you're trying to do is just tilt the head over. Now I know my right side's really tight, so it hardly looks like I'm actually doing anything, but trust me, it's quite tight there. And then pull the right shoulder away from your ear. So just holding it there. Maybe you want to drop the chin slightly to the throat, and not so hard. And for those that want to go a little bit deeper, you can always take that left hand, just lightly putting it onto the head, so you don't even need to pull it. Usually just the weight of the hand is enough. Release the hand down, bring the head back up, just have another little shoulder roll. Now take your right ear to right shoulder. So you can see there's a lot more movement in my neck on this side. You might also notice these indifferences. And then if you want to go a little bit further, just taking that right hand. If I didn't bring her to the studio, that we'd never get any videos done. Release your hand down, bring your head up, just have a couple of rolls again. So this time you're going to turn your head 45 degrees to the left, and then just take your chin down towards your collarbone as though you're looking towards your left armpit or your left nipple, depends where your nips are. Sitting nice and tall again, so we're just trying to give the back of the neck a stretch, and this is going to stretch down to the shoulder blade on your right hand side. So I really want you to focus on pulling that right shoulder blade away from the neck. Oh, that feels lovely. Another breath in. Allow the head to come up, come back to the center, just have a couple of rolls again. We're just going to do one more to the other side. So taking the head 45 degrees to the right, bow down towards your right collarbone, so gazing towards your right knee, armpit, nip, somewhere around there. But again, keep the spine nice and tall. And I want you to imagine your back is against a wall, so we don't want to be slouching down. And then focus on allowing that left shoulder blade to slide down the back as the head leans forward. We're just trying to put a little bit of space between the skull and the shoulder blade, especially after those leaning into it can get a little bit stiff around the neck and shoulder area. And then breathe in, head comes back up, come back to the center. Oh, lush. Give yourself a few little shoulder rolls. And that is it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the class. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps our channel to grow. Much appreciated, and I'll see you on the mat soon.